I hope you enjoy this project, created by yours truly, Forgotten.
Yeah. Yep, in my white tee. Yeah, call up Mike Williams for the hype, please. They gon' wipe you before you wipe me. My boxes of checks, not my Nikes. Cactus, not no iced tea. Got them bamboozled like I'm Spike Lee. You need more than Google just to find me. I just call a beta, get a hyphy.
Incredible, general.
I just thought the label just to sign me. Me and Chase connected like we Siamese. We been on a run, feel like a crime spree. Talk to me nicely. I see his face, see me. Yeah, on his white tee.
Yeah, call the Sprite people. Call them, hold on. Private flight franchise sites. On a private flight, bought them in his hands, he was tight. Caterpillar robbery, I fought to lift it up. I went on the stand, told the judge, pass my cup. Ay, ran up 20 million, told the devil, keep the look. Keep the hope. Pop, keep the smoke. They slay. Talk to me nicely. People on the chain, that ain't like me. Scots with no strings, you can't tie me. Hold on. I'm higher than a plane on where the Skypes be. Yep, in my slide tee. Prissy in his prime, yellow bone too feisty, lean him up, no knocking,
Yep, in my white tee. Yeah, call up Mike Williams for the hype, please. They gon' wipe you before you wipe me. My boxes of checks, not my Nikes. Cactus, not no iced tea. Got them bamboozled like I'm Spike Lee. You need more than Google just to find me. I just call a beta, get a hyphy.
Incredible.
It's all gon' be a film, a Kodak. Shoot me pouring right above the rim, like Polak. I've been ripping and running, not slipping or sliding, athletic tendencies. I've been upset, chefing and whipping it to the base rock. I provide the remedy. When we open gates up at Utopia, it's like Zootopia. You see the crosses over ya. That's how you know it's us. At 4 a.m. I'm phoning ya. Not for no shoulder up, them jack boys open, clean us up. The way they fold it up.
That phone call from Ricky still hazy. When heaven got an angel named Avery. Gotta watch who you callin' crazy. Yeezy, the newest $1 billion baby. It won't feel right till I feel like Phil Knight. Going for 6 rings like what Phil told Mike. 7 pill nights, who know what that feel like? No more hiding the scars, I show them like Seal, right?
Yep, in my white tee.
How they you respond?
Hype Williams for the hype, please. Yeah, they gon' wipe you before you wipe me. Yeah, I'm boxes of checks, not my checks, not my.
I be where the fuck the light be. Bangers in the system, it's bangers in the system, it's H&L Bangers in the system, it's that bangers in the system, it's that.
Got a switch on, you ain't got no zoom. Big rock diamonds, y'all mean goon. Top of lemonade, pump it out them fumes. Heating up like last day in June.
Yeah, next couple of weeks I'll be more and more sad, I promise you, because of the wonderful Steelers. They'll find a way to upset me in the next couple of weeks. So.
Steelers searching that first down. Fumble, the ball comes out. Ben never got that cleanly, and the Bengals say they have it. Pressure from the Bengals. Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster is blown up from the 4. Here's Bernard. Tries to shake it. He's in the
If you lose to the Bengals, I'll eat C4 next week.
Christmas. 26 on the 26. Here's Bernard, still on his feet. Touchdown. 2nd and 2. Finley will keep it right up the middle. Ryan Seibert. Perfect.
What is going on, folks, and welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode number 13, unlucky 13. It is very unlucky because it's just me here today. You guys are really out of luck. Shaq is not going to make it tonight as far as I know. It's just going to be me on the show doing a solo episode. Funny thing is, this happened the day before Thanksgiving where he got stuck at work, and now here we are, like right before Christmas. It's just me, another solo show. I don't know what it is with the holidays. But anyway, obviously big change of scenery here. Not at our usual little studio desk setup on a little leather couch here. That's because today we are shooting this episode at Bootleggers Brewery in Brandon, Florida. So a huge shout out to them for letting us use their little upstairs loft space to shoot this episode of the show. So hopefully we're going to keep shooting here on a sort of regular basis. Not every episode, but we're aiming for around once a month-ish. But, you know, don't quote me on that one. So I have got a Saison beer here. Fancy, yes, I know. I don't remember the exact name of it. On the second half of the show, I'll get the name for you guys. But yeah, so if you're into beer, you live in the greater Tampa area, be sure to check out Bootleggers. I'm going to give you a little more info on them on the second half of the show because they are our sponsor this week because they let us use the space. So great. It would have been even better if this camera was backed up just a bit, and then there would be Shaq here as well, but it's just me today. You guys are in for a wild ride. So anyway, yeah, a lot has happened in this past week since we recorded episode 12. I want to welcome all of the new people that are watching the show. I know that not too many people watch the show live, but Shaq and I have noticed a big increase in people watching the show after the fact. Like, you know, after we're done streaming, the stream goes up to YouTube so that you can watch it, the video version, right on YouTube. So we want to give a shout out to the new people that are watching the show. We appreciate every last one of you. In case you don't know, if you're watching this after the fact, we do record the show live. Usually it's at about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night. Tonight we're recording a bit earlier just to work with the brewery's hours because they close at 10. So on the nights that we're here, it'll be a little earlier. But usually it's 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Wednesday night. So if you want to check that out, be sure to subscribe to the Melheim's Media YouTube channel. If you're watching this video right now, just click that big red subscribe button. And then every time we go live, you'll get a notification that'll let you know, hey, they're live right now. So it kind of works out for you that way. So just wanted to make sure, in case you didn't know, put that out there. There is a live video version of the show. So now we'll actually get into what we're talking about. So today we're talking about the Steelers. We're talking about the NBA being back. We're talking about what happened last week in the NFL. We're also talking about the L's of the week, of course. We're going to get into our new segment on the show, which is the Ride or Die in 5. And then last but not least, of course, my FanDuel fantasy picks for this coming Sunday afternoon. And so I've got my notes here, so if you see me looking constantly at the screen, it's the show notes of what the heck I'm going to be talking about today. So, yeah, we're going to start off with the Steelers. Obviously, our Steelers aficionado, Shaquille Brown, not here tonight, and he has some explaining to do, to say the least, after they took a fat L to the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday night. What a game. Nobody saw that loss coming, but yeah, I'm going to do my best to not speak for Shaq, but, you know, just to give my take on what is going on with the Steelers. They're in some trouble. They are in some deep trouble. I think I mentioned this last week, but Colin Cowherd mentioned the fact that they look a lot like the New England Patriots did last season, where it was like we started off really, really hot, and then we lost to the Ravens, and just the bottom fell out because we had a really easy schedule, and then as soon as we started playing some teams that actually were playoff bound, everything just fell apart because it showed team really isn't that great. I do think the Steelers have a way better team than we did have last year, but at the same time, they're really just predicated on their defense. Their offense is just kind of slow and reminds me of my Patriots offense in a way. Better, but kind of reminds me of just the slow. Really takes them a while to get going. They are not looking good, man. I mean, when it comes to, you have the Bengals, the Bills, and then you have Washington, who all, knocked them around. And it just kind of shows, if you can just manage to score some points, you don't got to light up the scoreboard, but if you could just get into field goal range, force some turnovers, and just score, get on the board, their offense can be had. If you can get your defense after that Pittsburgh offense, they seem to get rattled quick and don't know what to do. And their offense just seems really predictable. They seem to run the same kind of plays over and over again. And at the same time, who do you have on that offense? Juju, who is tick-tocking on people's 50-yard lines before the game. So you're just giving the defense more incentive to want to absolutely shut down that offense. Steelers are in trouble. They've got the Colts and the Browns next to finish out their season. I don't know what they're going to do. If you ask me, I am thinking they're going to lose these last two games. I'm sorry to say it, Shaq, but I don't see it. Don't see it happening. The Colts and the Browns, very good teams this year. Very good teams, which is odd to say that both of those teams are doing well, but it's the truth. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about where the Steelers are at. Do you think they're going to win these last two games? If you're a Steelers fan, I don't know. It's a scary time to be a Steelers fan right now, which is why I would have loved to have, obviously our resident Steelers fan here to give his take. But, it is what it is. I'm just going to kind of speak in his. I know right now he was not happy to that Monday night loss. We were watching together. Not happy at all. And it was just an absolute train wreck to watch. On the bright side, though, I did win a bit of money betting on that game because I was like, let me put a little bit of money on the Bengals money line just in case they win. And I 7 or 8 times my $10 that I put in. So anyway, we're going to kind of leave it right there for the Steelers. There's no titles or the little banners that show the topic on the screen. I just didn't quite have time to get to it this week, but I think you guys will manage. Anyway, that's going to do it for the state of the Steelers. Shaq, next week, we'll see what happens. They play the Colts, so it could get even worse come next week. So, yeah. Also, excuse any background noise. Sorry. Again, I'm in a brewery, so you're going to hear some stuff behind me here. All right, next up, the NBA is back. Last night was the opening night for the NBA. I've got my Celtics playing right now, actually, just minimizing the little screen here. We're playing the Bucks as we speak. Hopefully we get that win, first win of the season. But last night the Warriors traveled to Brooklyn to play them in a nice empty Barclays Center. And we also had the Lakers get that championship ring in their ceremony and then take an L to the also resident Los Angeles Clippers, which was a little surprising, but not too surprising when you could look at last year and also see that the same thing happened. So nothing really to celebrate if you're a Clippers fan, but a win is a win, so to each his own. So I'm going to start with the Warriors-Nets game, and then I'll go into the Clippers-Lakers. Try and make this relatively quick because everything I'm going to say, please take this with a grain of salt. I know it's overreaction Wednesday, but again, it is the first game of the season, so I don't think there's much reason to make a bunch of claims after seeing the very first season, or the very first game, after the shortest offseason in the history of the NBA. So everything I'm going to say, just take it with a grain of salt. So the Nets, I'm really not going to get much into the Warriors. I'll sum them up real quick. Warriors, good luck. I don't know how you're going to do it, even when Draymond comes back. Steph Curry, to me, I don't see him being able to carry a team to the playoffs. Maybe they make an 8 seed. I'm saying if it was up to me, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs at all. But they'll be competitive. They'll have their games where they're in it. But there's a lot of great teams in the West, and I just don't see it happening for them. But who knows? I'm sure Steph will have some games where he puts on a show. Outside of that, they've got some promise with them. They've got Kelly Oubre there, who seems to really like playing for Golden State. He had his moments in that game. Rest of their team just seem kind of, we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of new faces out there for Golden State. A lot of dudes who I can't think of their name at the moment, obviously, but we'll see. At the same time, though, don't see them making the playoffs. Anyway, moving over to the Nets. Nets look really, really, really scary good. Again, take it with a grain of salt, but as a Celtics fan, I am most definitely not looking forward to having to deal with the Brooklyn Nets in our conference now. KD and Kyrie, I believe I said this before the season started, and I'll say it now. I don't think that any of their problems are going to come on the court. They are going to play off each other extremely well. If they do have any issues, it's going to be he said, she said, off the court. The personalities of them, how they deal with the media, I think that could be an issue. But as far as on the court, they're going to be just fine. I think what we saw from them last night is almost as good as that team probably could be, outright. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, they were probably, at least to me, it seemed like they were at a 9 out of 10. They probably had that one more gear that they could kick it up to. But they were playing just at a super, super high level. And here's the thing, like you've got them two, the two nuclear weapons between KD and Kyrie, and then the rest of that team is so well-rounded. It's not just the Kyrie and KD show. Obviously, the team plays through them, but you have a bunch of other dudes who can go get a bucket on their own. You got LeVert, you've got Jared Allen, who's up there grabbing boards. You've got Joe Harris, the sharpshooter from outside. And obviously you have DeAndre Jordan, who's not done yet. He's still in there playing defense, up there grabbing boards. So, I mean, when you look all around, LeVert can go get his own shot. Kyrie can go get his own shot. KD obviously can get his own shot. And Joe Harris can get his own shot too. So it's like, out of all those dudes, you really can't leave anybody open outside of, I almost said Josh Allen. I mean, I think it's Joe Allen. And then DeAndre Jordan. Here we got Nori in the chat here saying that Wiseman kid. Yes, that's who I couldn't think of his name. Wiseman, the rookie. He's only 19 years old and plays for the Warriors. He played really, really well. And I know that a lot of his, I guess you would say, highlights came in garbage time when it was like the last 5 minutes and they were just getting blown out. But he put up a nice three-pointer. He had a 2 from just inside the three-point line. I mean, he was all over the place. So a lot of promise from him. If he can keep that up, then he might change my mind from the Warriors, but we'll see. But back to the Nets, yeah, they are extremely, extremely well-rounded, which also brings me to no reason to bring in James Harden. If I'm running that team, I am not giving up LeVert, Harris, and Allen, whoever else. No, I'm keeping what I have now. I think that's already hard enough to find, like the chemistry of keeping that going. Because again, on the court, I don't see any issues there at all. They are good to go. If you bring in James Harden, obviously you got to give up a ton of people. I don't know who you're going to replace that with that's even halfway comparable to what you already have. And then you're just praying that it works. So I just don't think that you need all of that firepower. Would it be, cool? Obviously, it'd be flashy and, hey, we've got a nuclear big three, but I don't know. This doesn't seem necessary to me. And personality-wise, forget on the court. Off the court, I mean, I think with all of James Harden's antics that he's been doing recently, that is the last thing you want to do is bring in drama and just, pray that it works out. Yeah, and LeVert, he can play. Dude is really, really legit. Believe me, as a Celtics fan, I remember that LeVert game last year. Moving right along from that one. So, Nets, they're going to be a force to reckon with. Warriors, not so much. Clippers, Lakers. this was a little surprising one. I did not watch the entire game. Watched the first half, then I went to bed, and then I just watched the second half highlights earlier today. But yeah, this was a surprising game. I think most people, including myself, picked the Lakers to win this, and the Clippers came out strong and had like a 20-some-odd point lead in the first quarter, and then the Lakers quickly caught up and cut it down to 2 points, or at least by halftime they cut it down to about 2 points, and it seemed like, all right, here come the Lakers. They're going to do their thing and just take this game over. But, LeBron kind of tweaked his ankle, and he went out, and in comes PG-13. Paul George took over and did not give that game back. Paul George, I think he showed to me, I think that was a very Paul George kind of thing to do. The first game of the year, I don't want to say didn't matter, but none of us are questioning Paul George's regular season right now. We all know that he can ball out in the regular season. It's come the playoffs, what is PG-13 going to do? So it's cool. Paul George came to save the day, took over, scored 30-plus points. Great for him. But right now, I really don't care what Paul George does during the regular season. It's just come very similar to James Harden. I don't care what he does during the regular season anymore. We've seen him put up crazy numbers. I just want to see what are those two players, not just those two, but those two caliber players. What are they going to do in the postseason? Can they take a game over, a game 6 over, a game 7 over, an elimination game over, where it's like our backs are against the wall, we can't buy a shot right now, and here they come. Or not even scoring-wise, just whatever needs to be done. Jimmy Butler's a dude that I love watching him play, because it's not just let me go out here and get 40, 50 every other night because I can. It's more of like I have a great, talented team around me. Scoring is not the only thing that is needed. I'm going to go get boards. I'm going to go get 50-50 balls. I'm going to go pass the ball to the open shooter. Whatever it may be, like that's the kind of dude where game 1, game 2, game 3, whatever it might be, he's going to do whatever is needed. So I just want to see Paul George have a big game have a positive influence in a big game. So in a playoff game, or hell, even in just a regular season game, sure, I want to see it regardless, but mainly in the playoffs, I'd like to see him have a big impact on the game, because anytime there's a big moment in a postseason game, Paul George is the last person I'm seeing involved in a play. He's usually just nowhere to be found, and that's kind of the knock on him right now. So cool, it's great that you scored big on the Lakers, but Paul George, I just want to see a bigger impact in a postseason performance. I'm checking the live chat here for the audio viewers. If you're wondering what the pauses are, that's because I'm looking at the chat or I'm taking a drink. Harden doesn't get along with other star players. Yeah, exactly. Like he had Dwight, he had CP3, he had Westbrook this past year, and if he's going to go to Kyrie and KD, it won't work. A good point by Nori here. So I agree 100%. The dude did have Howard, Paul, and Westbrook. So in Westbrook, they were like boys. Like they grew up together. They played together in OKC. And you would have thought that would have worked out for more than a year. But they had 1 year together, and they were like, all right, I want out. At least Russ wanted out. And then later James did. But yeah, that's really all to say about Clippers Lakers. Moving forward from that game, it doesn't change anything I think about the rest of the season. Clippers look good. They'll look good all regular season. Again, all my questions for them come postseason. Lakers, nothing to worry about. You just came off of not only a ring ceremony earlier that night, which to me is strange. I don't think they should have a ring ceremony the same day of a game, but it's beside the point. And then also, they had an extremely short offseason. They had 70-something days between winning the championship and then this game last night. So, I don't blame them at all. And I'm sure there's still some fatigue that's left over, but still sticking with it. I think they'll be back in the finals come later this year. Playoff P, a.k.a. Paul George, not living up to that name. Yeah, you got that right. Playoff P is not a good nickname for him. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the opening night of the NBA. Again, some games are on right now, but obviously can't speak on that at the moment. So next week there'll be some more basketball to talk about. So from here on out, I believe it's just all football from here, because what a week in the NFL it was last week. This is my recap for what went on in Week 15 of the NFL. So, almost a whole week ago, Thursday night game, this was the Chargers against the Raiders. And Justin Herbert played out of his mind and continued to make his case for Rookie of the Year, which I think is undoubtedly him. But that's just me. But yeah, they took down the Raiders in overtime, 30-27. I'm gonna give all the Chargers all their props, a well-deserved win. But on the other side of things, a lot of this is on just bad Raiders. Derek Carr pulls his groin, goes out. Marcus Mariota comes in and almost saves the day. He damn near pulled it off. But at the same time, it's like as soon as Carr went down and Mariota came into the game and started flinging the ball around, you could almost see John Gruden celebrating. Like, thank God Derek Carr is no longer on this field, because clearly he does not want Derek Carr as his starting quarterback right now. He would probably rather have Super Mario out there losing in overtime games. I think he would almost rather take that, but I'm sure he honestly thinks that Mariota and probably quite a few other quarterbacks are a better fit and could win more games than Derek Carr, because this entire time, it's no secret that John Gruden does not seem to truly believe in Mr. Carr. So yeah, I mean, I don't know moving forward if he's going to stick with Mariota. Obviously, if Carr is seriously hurt and he's going to be out for a little while, then you don't have much of a choice. But we'll see what ends up happening with that. But I don't know, man. Raiders fans, I got to give a lot of props to you, because you guys you've been through a gauntlet on as far as your team goes. Between obviously the players, just a sporadic team. They seemingly every year have their runs where they'll win 2-3 in a row, and it's like, oh, here come the Raiders, and then they'll lose another 3 or 4 in a row, and then they'll kind of put themselves into a playoff talk, and then they'll knock themselves right back out of it. And very, very common for that to happen seemingly every single season. Not only that, but then you also have a coach who clearly doesn't believe in his quarterback. I'm sure that'll go well for you guys. And then also, you get moved from Oakland to Las Vegas. So all those loyal fans, you get your team yanked out of your own home city. It's just props to Raiders fans, but even more props to the Chargers for getting the dub. Justin Herbert for Rookie of the Year. And then moving to the next game, the hometown team here, the Bucks pull off a comeback win against the Atlanta Falcons. 31-27 was the final score. I picked the Falcons to win this game. If you watched last week's episode, I did. And in the first half, I thought I was going to be right, because Tampa's offense, once again, came out extremely flat. Not looking good at all. I was actually here watching this game, and the mood here was not too great. The local Tampa folks watching their team not being able to pick up more than 8 yards or whatever. I'm just completely making that up. They were just terrible. Terrible. But second half came around, and they turned it on like they usually do. The Tampa Bay Bucks are a hazard, to say the least. I don't know. I wouldn't really trust them come the playoffs. I know I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to go down with that ship. But at the same time, I don't believe that. They are just extremely strange. I feel like if this, their last win came against the Vikings and this one came against the Falcons, if it was against any other team that had more competency they probably aren't able to pull off these comebacks. The Falcons still haven't learned their lesson that Tom Brady will pick you apart in the second half of a game. I don't know how you don't still understand that, but it doesn't matter that he changed jerseys. He will still do it to you. Playoff P is a myth. He sure is like Bigfoot. Yeah. The Bucs, props to him for winning the game. I'll give that to you. But at the same time, if you're a Buccaneer fan, I don't understand how you could feel any better. Like, maybe just delusionally, you can think like, okay, here we go, playoffs. But I mean, if I was a fan of it, I would not really feel too confident going forward. I mean, if you have an opinion on the Bucs, leave it in the chat, or if you're watching it after the fact, leave it in the comments below. I don't know. Bucs really strange right now, sporadic. They can't keep waiting until the second half to turn on their offense, because when you do play a playoff caliber team, they're going to really bury you in your own mistakes and your own inability to get started. And then last but not least, I don't recap every single game, but more of the more noteworthy games. And then there's some L's of the week. I'll also cover some of the worst L's from last week. But for this segment, the Chiefs outlasting the Saints. I think this was like the 4:30 game on Sunday evening. But Kansas City continues to show that if you are playing against them, you need everything to go right in order to stand just a chance to beat them. Because the Saints, I mean, they were pulling at every single opportunity that they could get to take this game over, and Patrick Mahomes is just too good. I'm sorry, but right now I'm still picking him as MVP. I mean, it's so weird. It's like each week it changes between A-Rod, Patrick Mahomes, but the show that he put on last Sunday was just ridiculous. He made some throws that were unbelievable. A throw where he was like coming basically just about to run out of bounds and threw it across his body into the back corner of the end zone for a touchdown was, I mean, just crazy talented. Kansas City, man, I don't know how anybody's going to beat that team. Again, I know I picked the Bucs to win it all, but what I believe more is probably the Chiefs to make a repeat, because they are still ridiculous. I know a lot of people say this game and their last game against Miami to say that they could be had, because there are times where they just kind of are playing like they don't care, or basically playing like, you guys can have this right now, but come the fourth quarter we can just turn it on and blow you guys out, which that does give people a legitimate reason to question them, but every time they do that, they do turn it on. You know what I mean? Like they do follow through with that attitude and win the game. So it's like, if that's how they play, then that's how they play. Maybe they need to kind of get behind a bit, and then that's what motivates them to just from that point out blow out their opponent. So Saints, sorry for you guys, but the Chiefs just continue to show that they are, to me, still the best team in the NFL. So we'll see what happens come the tail end of this regular season, and then of course the postseason is where it really gets dicey. But that's going to do it for the first half of the show, folks. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with the L's of the week, which is always Shaq's favorite segment. So this one will go out to Shaq. Back in about 5, maybe 10 minutes, but stay posted. See you soon.
Winter wind on the window, Christmas trees. Take a shoe from the bureau, cover your knees. Send a card to the widow, see what she needs. And for the gift of forgiving, you will receive. You will receive. friendship you show. You will see smiles on the faces of children, warmth in the places you go. You will feel love from the love that you've given. Friendship from the friendship you show. From the friendship you show. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Once bitten and twice shy, I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year, it doesn't surprise me. Merry Christmas, I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you, I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been, but if you kiss me now, I know you fool me again. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. A crowded room, friends with tired eyes, hiding from you and your soft eyes. My boy, I thought you were someone to rely on. Me, I guess I was a shoulder to cry on. Face on a lover with a fire in his heart. A man undercover, but you tore me apart. Oh, and now I found a real love. You'll never fool me again. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Oh.
And we are back with the second half of the show. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much there. I hope you took that opportunity to go to the bathroom, grab a snack, grab a drink or two, whatever it is to float your boat to keep you through this godforsaken show. I hope you went ahead and took care of that, because the second half of the show starts right now with a little bit of community input. Nori said the Chiefs will win 4 or 5 rings with Mahomes in the next 10 years. He's good, and we haven't seen the best from him yet. I do agree with that second part. But 4 or 5, I don't know. Only because of the fact that it is very hard to keep that group together in a matter of 10 years. It's hard to keep that many talented dudes together and pay them all, as well as dudes are going to inevitably leave, and can you replace them with enough talent to do it a few more times? I don't know. I don't know about 4 more times, 5 more times. I don't know, but I could see maybe 2 more times. I could see that. But we had a poll on Monday asking who would you rather have, Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen. I know you probably can't really see that, but 50-50 on that one. Half of you said Baker, half of you said Josh Allen. And then on Monday Night Football, 67% of you guys guessed it wrong, including me. I did put the Steelers, but 33% did guess correctly on the Bengals winning that one. So if you voted in that poll, props to you. That poll comes from our Instagram. It is at AFR Sports. If you want to see exclusive content, you can check the Instagram there. Again, we don't cover every single game on this podcast, but if you look at our Instagram, you'll see a lot more picks on our stories. You'll see more FanDuel fantasy lineups. We do one, of course, for the Sunday afternoon games at the end of the show. But for everything else, now the NBA is back. We make more lineups for basketball. All of that and the other Monday night, Thursday night games. You can see our different FanDuel lineups on Instagram. So if you want to see some more after review or after further review content, you can check it out on Instagram. Again, that is at AFR Sports. It is down in the description below if you want to click on that and give us a follow. Moving along, I do want to give one more shout out to our sponsor, Bootleggers Brewery. If you want to follow them on Instagram, their Instagram will also be down in the description below. But they have a bunch of different beer if you are into drinking beer, of course. Yeah, they've got IPAs, they've got lagers, they've got saisons, they've got stouts. If you're into something darker, lighter, more bitter, more hot, they've got it all. They also have not just stuff on draft, but they also have a bunch of a canned selection as well. I had a little video to show you guys, but TBH, I don't know where it is at. Oh, there it is. Jalen, maybe you look right in front of you and he would find what you're looking for. Yeah, they have a very, very nice environment here. As you can see, they've got a nice open area as soon as you walk in. You do need a mask to come in, which is nice that they require everybody to stay safe, stay kind of distance from each other, unless you obviously are in the same party. They have, like I said, a nice can selection. And then there's this upstairs area where I'm at, so you can come up here if you want to just hang out with your buddies, your family, whoever you might be with. Chill out. There's a nice big flat screen right up there, so you can watch a game. And then there's a nice little window right on the other side of the camera, so you can look down into the brewery and see, during the daytime when there's people down there working, you can see how the beer is made. And then there's of course a patio if you want to go outside into the back. Really, really, really nice patio with different couches and benches, and you can sit in a nice shaded area so the sun's not beating right down on you. So if you don't want to be inside at all, you want to be outside in some nice fresh air and enjoy a beer, you have that option as well. So again, their Instagram is down in the description below, but it is basically just, I believe, Bootleggers Brewing Co. Yeah, Bootleggers Brewing Co. So check them out on IG, and if you're in Tampa, want to catch a beer, be sure to check out Bootleggers, especially on a Sunday, because you can watch some games here as well. So give Bootleggers a follow. Come catch a beer here. Maybe you'll even catch me here if you want to say hi. But that's it. Only if you want to say hi. I'm just playing. Anyway, we're going to move right into the L's of the week. Now, this is a Shaquille Brown special, folks. I hope I can give it enough justice. But this is usually his segment that he will do the moderating on, I guess you would say. But yeah, there's no shortage of L's every week. You know, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. So there's always a bunch of L's every week. But this is the segment where we pick some of what we found to be the worst L's that were taken and try and give some explanation or shed some more light on them, if you will. So we're going to start off with, of course, my very own New England Patriots, because the Dolphins beat us senselessly 22-12. What do my Patriots have to look forward to going forward? Nothing. There's really nothing. We've kind of screwed ourselves into a bad draft pick because we won too many games, I guess you would say. Cam probably won't be coming back next year, unfortunately. I'd like him to come back. I think a second year in the system, give him more time to learn the system. But I can't seem to bring him back, fingers crossed. The Dolphins, I do kind of in a way want to thank you and congratulate you. Congratulate you for, yes, you should be making the playoffs this year in a wild card spot. Great job. We've beat up on you guys for years. It's cool to see somebody else win. And you have a great team, great coach. Obviously comes from our tree, so great coach. And great team. So go Dolphins, go do your thing, swim. I don't know what your sayings are. Go do well in the playoffs. I hope you do. And then also want to thank you for finally shutting Patriots fans up about making the playoffs. We're not going to make the playoffs. I'm glad that you mathematically have eliminated us. Tired of hearing about it. If somehow, some way we had won that game and by a miracle made the playoffs, do you really think we'd have won a single game? Absolutely not. We've gotten embarrassed on some kind of national stage, and it would be ridiculous. So thank you for eliminating us. Go do your thing. Nothing but the best wishes for you guys. So Patriots are gone. We have 2 more games, I'll mention them. We have the Bills and the Jets, so not much more of a reason to mention them because we're irrelevant moving forward, but it is what it is. Anyway, moving along to the next one. Josh Allen and the Bills beat the Broncos 48-19 last Saturday. They annihilated them. I watched pretty much this entire game. And Josh Allen, he's outstanding. I think he could have made a case for MVP this year. I'm sure he was in the discussion at some point. Dude is ridiculous. In that poll that I was talking about earlier, I thought it was Josh Allen over Baker Mayfield. His mobility, his size, his arm, the dude is outstanding. If I was a GM, I'd love to build a team around Josh Allen. But yeah, the Broncos, I'm sorry. Colin Cowherd, no disrespect, but I followed your pick and thought that the Broncos would be able to take the points that were given to them. They did not. Instead, they lost by a landslide. And I lost a very small amount of money. I'm not going to put ever a large amount of money on the Denver Broncos. So it is what it is. But Colin Cowherd, you should follow our segment on this show and take our bets. But it is what it is. So yeah, Josh Allen, the Bills are a force to be reckoned with. If my team were going to make the playoffs, I would not want to play them. So there's that. Moving right along, the Lions allowed the Titans to hang 46 points on them. This is the fourth time this season that they've allowed a team to score 40-plus on them. That is a very, very embarrassing stat, to say the least. Matt Patricia is gone, so you can't blame the coaching anymore when it comes to Detroit. It seems to be the team is also held liable in this situation. I know, shocking. It's not just the coaching. Yes, I was one of the people that said Matt Patricia needs to go, but at the same time, this team clearly has some inside problems. I'm curious to see what you guys think. think Matty Stafford comes back next year, or I think he's out of there. I hope he's out of there for the sake of that man's mental health. But at the same time, even if he's gone, stays, whatever, bringing a new QB, does it really solve your issues there? To me, he's not the problem. It's everything, man. You need to just completely annihilate that team again, and try and figure something else out. Because you got rid of the coach, and you're still getting, damn near 50 points hung on you. So, Lions fans, God bless you. Moving on to the Jags, losing to the Ravens 40-14. The Ravens right now are trying to make a case that they are still a threat in the AFC. I don't know. Weird on the Ravens. Not to say that they aren't a threat. It's just a matter of there are more lethal threats throughout the rest of the AFC. I think Cleveland, well, I can't say that Cleveland's a better team because the Ravens did beat them, but I don't know. To me, that could go either way. The Browns and the Ravens are, in my eyes, on the same level just about. So it's like, I don't know on that one. But I mean, you still have the Colts, the Titans, the Bills. All three of those teams, I kind of like them more than the Ravens. But it's just a matter of most teams at this point would know, unless you're the Cleveland Browns, would know to just shut down Lamar's running game, and then throwing is not that much of an issue with him. So come the postseason, they're going to do that to Lamar Jackson. At least you would imagine. Opposing teams are going to make sure they shut down the Ravens, or at least Lamar's running game. So I don't know. It's not so much do I buy into the Ravens, it's just do I buy into Lamar's passing game, because that's what it's going to be predicated on. If they do make the playoffs, is can he make the necessary throws and not easily be shut down by a solid secondary. So, yeah, I mean, I do think that the Ravens are a threat. Don't get me wrong. It's just a matter of who they match up against. If that opposing defense is willing to say, hey, we're not going to let you just run all over us. So, there's that. The Jags, I don't have anything to say about the Jacksonville Jaguars. The 49ers somehow allowed the Dallas Cowgirls to hang 41 points on them. I don't know how that is even mathematically possible. Cowboys and 41 in the same sentence, with 41 being on the Cowboys. The Cowboys were actually the only team in the NFC East to win a game this last Sunday, which is kind of strange, but it made Cowgirls fans extremely happy. I still don't think they're going to beat out Washington to win this division. I'll get to that in a little while. So, Cowboys fans, don't get too excited. Take this win, ha, hoorah, jubilee, whatever. Celebrate, party. But you guys aren't winning the division, so party now while you have the chance. And then, last but not least, folks, the Jets. For the first time this year, they are not in this segment because they lost. They are in this segment because they beat somebody else. Hallelujah, praise Jesus. This was a miracle for the New York Jets. Well, this was a miracle for the players of the New York Jets, not of the organization or the fans. This was actually a really big curse for them. But somehow they managed to squeak out their first win of the season against the LA Rams. The Rams made me eat my words when I gave them huge props when they beat the Bucs a few weeks ago. I don't know, the Rams, I'm not going to speak positively on them for the rest of the year. Even in the postseason, I'm not going to give them much props because they are just strange, to say the least. But the Jets somehow, let's just say that they can beat Miami come next week. This is, again, hypothetical. And then, obviously, they beat Miami. After that, they get an easy, obvious win against my New England Patriots. That is not hypothetical. They probably will do that. And then they would have ended their season on a 3-game winning streak and possibly destroy their chances at a number 1 draft pick that they were aiming towards this entire season. Now, obviously, again, I'm assuming that in that case they're beating Miami. In any case, Doctor Strange, any kind of possibility, they're going to beat my Patriots. I don't give a damn. They damn near beat us in the first meeting. But anyway, they already kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one win, but they could very well win 2 more, or at least 1 more, which might seal their deal. They are not getting that number 1 draft pick. I feel for the fans. That sucks. All year long you've been put through all this just to have your own team shoot themselves in the foot and win a couple games. But at the end of the day, they're professional competitors. Like, I don't really know. Like, you can't be mad at the players. It's like you really expect them to go out there and not try to win a game. I know the coaching staff may be trying that. I know, front office may be trying that. But the players, of course, are going to try and win. They're the ones out there giving hits, taking hits, catching the ball, throwing the ball. Like, they're going to try to win no matter what. So, props for them to getting their first win. But at the same time, Jets fan base, You're Trevor Lawrence is in jeopardy right now. Leave it at that. And God bless you if you do end up beating my team come the last game of the season. I don't actually think you'll beat Miami, but I do legitimately think that you will beat my team the last game of the season. So now we're going to segue into our second to last topic for this week, and that is a kind of new topic, or not topic, but a new segment. That's the ride or die in 5. So this is like our replacement for our predictions for the upcoming week in the NFL. So usually we pick out some of the more noteworthy games, and then we predict who's going to win, who's going to lose, and who you should bet a little bit of money on if you're into betting. At least, of course, when it comes to the spread. So there's that. But shout out to Mainland, good friend of mine. He gave us this idea to change the title of the segment to Ride or Die in 5, because this is exactly who you should pick if you're going to put down some money, and we're going to give it all to you within 5 minutes. When I say we, I mean me this week, because obviously it's just me. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different games I'm going to run through in supposedly less than 5 minutes. So bear with me if I go a little over time. This is my first time attempting this. So, yeah. We're going to start the clock up with 5 minutes exactly. All right, so we've got Minnesota at New Orleans Friday. This is the Christmas Day game at 4:30 p.m. Minnesota is 6.5 points road underdogs. Saints coming off of 2 losses in a row to the Eagles and the Chiefs. But don't worry, New Orleans fans. You'll get a nice Christmas gift this year because the Vikings are in the midst of showing their true colors this year. And the Saints have not lost 3 games in a row since 2016. So I trust the Saints to bounce back as the Vikings tailspin out of the playoff picture, because I don't really think they're that legit. I say if you are a Saints fan, feel good about this one. Put them some money on this game. I would say take the Saints to cover. I think they'll win by probably about a touchdown. The 6.5 points, it'll be close. It'll probably still be a 1-possession game, but I think the Saints will win by a touchdown. I don't see them losing 3 in a row. All right, next one. We have got the 49ers at the Cardinals. This is a Saturday game at 4:30 p.m. This is the second week in a row of Saturday games. Nice little addition there. But the 49ers are 3.5-point road dogs coming into this one. I'm taking the Niners in this game only because they are coming off of their 3rd consecutive loss. And in their first go-around against the Cardinals, they lost. So with all that being said, they're also aware of the fact that the Cardinals are fighting for their playoff lives, basically from here on out. They want that wild card spot. Earlier this year, I did predict that the Cardinals were not going to make the playoffs. So I am staying true to my prediction. Right now, they are one game ahead of the Chicago Bears. So if the Bears are playing the Jags this weekend, right? Let's just say that the Bears go ahead and beat the Jags. The 49ers would love nothing more than to hand Arizona an L, thus dropping them down to a tie with the Bears for that wild card spot. So the Niners are going to be extra motivated to win this game. I say they do it. And in that case, forget the points. The Niners are just going to win this thing outright. 3.5 points, forget about it. So tentatively put some money on this game for the Niners to win. I wouldn't say put too much on it, but put a little bit of money on the Niners to win this game outright, because I think they want to basically just spoil the Arizona Cardinals' chances of making the playoffs. There is no way in the world I'm going to make this in 5 minutes, because I'm already at 2-minute warning and I'm not even halfway through this, but bear with me. All right. Next we have the Dolphins at the Raiders. The Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites on the road, and this is Saturday at 8:15 p.m. I think this is the third Saturday game, the third and final Saturday game. So the Dolphins are going to the Death Star Saturday night to play the Raiders, the hapless Las Vegas Raiders. I'll keep this really short, try and make some time here. The Raiders are not a good football team. The Dolphins are a good football team. Miami will cover this one in a 7-point game. Short, simple, to the point. The Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one is at Sunday, bright and early, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. The Colts are actually a 2.5-point road dog coming into this game. This is where I wish Shaq was here, because I would like to see what he has to say for his own team in a not exactly a must-win situation, but a very desperate situation to say the least. Pittsburgh's fighting to stay atop of the AFC North. They're coming off their third loss in a row. On the other side, you have the Colts, who are fighting for the top of their division against Tennessee, because they're currently tied for the top of that division. If they can beat the Steelers, the Titans are playing the Packers this weekend. I don't see them winning that one, so I think these Colts are like, we need to get this dub, because this could be the difference maker. The Titans are playing arguably the hottest team in the NFL right now. We are playing arguably the team in the biggest tailspin right now. Let's get this win. I know we have to go to Pittsburgh, but let's get this win against the Steelers, the TikToking Steelers, and we could be in the driver's seat, the catbird seat, moving forward in the last week of the season. So, sorry, Shaq. I hate to do it to you. I'm going to take the Colts in this one. I don't think you'll need the 2.5 points, because I see the Colts winning this by a field goal. It'll be a close one. This will be a great game. I don't see the Steelers' offense being inept 4 weeks in a row, but it'll be kind of a shootout. It'll be back and forth, but I think the Colts will do enough in the fourth quarter, late game clock ticking down, to get the job done and win by a field goal. So, yeah, pick the Colts outright to win this one. Forget the 2.5 points. Next up, we have got the Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. This is Sunday at 4:05 p.m. Rams, 2.5-point dogs on the road. The Rams actually beat the Seahawks in their first go-round, and last week they lost to the Jets. Yeah, I'm picking the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. It'll be closer than it needs to be. Of course, because it is, the Seahawks. But Seattle, I think they'll cover they'll have at least a field goal lead to win this game. Maybe a little more, maybe 4 or 5 points. I don't see it being a touchdown lead. It'll be a little closer than that, just to keep Seahawks fans right on the edge of that seat there. But I think the Seattle Seahawks will cover the 2 points and win by a field goal to seal the deal. So I'm saying pick the Seahawks to cover against LA. Then we also have the Eagles playing the Dallas Cowboys Sunday at 4:30. This is probably Fox's game of the week. I don't know why. Are we really giving two NFC least teams the game of the week still? But it is what it is. You know, I don't make the decisions over there. So, yeah, I'll keep this fairly short. Cowboys fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive, but Jalen Hurts does not care. He's going to get them right up out of here. Jalen Hurts is not messing with the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, that dude is balling out of control. He's happy to be starting. He wants to take Carson Wentz's job permanently. Doug Peterson won't say it because he really wants Carson Wentz in there, but Jalen Hurts is going to take this thing over here. So he's going to send the Cowboys home packing. I believe the Cowboys have to win out in order to make the playoffs at this point. So one loss will do them in. So, yeah, I think the Eagles will go ahead and take them down, which will mean they'll sweep the Eagles for the season. But nonetheless, the spread is only 1 point. The Eagles, I think, will cover that and win by 6 points. So I say take the Eagles in this one to cover. Last but certainly not least, like I mentioned earlier, Tennessee Titans going to the frozen tundra known as the Green Bay Packers house. This is the Sunday night game, nighttime. Green Bay, it is going to be freezing out there. A lot of running football, which Tennessee is used to with Derrick Henry. The Tennessee Titans are 3-point underdogs on the road. You know, Tennessee, I'm sorry, but I just don't see it happening. Packers, really, really good. Aaron Rodgers playing his best football right now. Kind of minus, you know, the Carolina game he had last Saturday. But generally speaking, he is having a great year overall. But, yeah, I don't see the Packers losing this one. I think they're going to win in a pretty low-scoring game. You know, it's wintertime in Green Bay. I say that they cover this one. 3 points, they'll cover that by probably about a touchdown by 7 points. So I'm picking the Packers to beat the Titans. Drink break there. All right. That's probably going to do it for the show this week. Usually there is a FanDuel fantasy lineup to end the show with, like I said. I just realized I didn't even pick a lineup yet. Usually I do it Tuesday, but I completely forgot this week to do it this week. So, yeah, I'm just going to kind of just skip right over that last segment for the show this week. But that gives you more incentive to follow us on Instagram because I will post my lineup come Sunday, usually before kickoff at 1 o'clock. You'll see what Shaq and I's Sunday afternoon lineups are at. So I apologize for not having that. To close out the show, I do want to mention that there is a audio version of the show. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the recording of this and you just want to listen to the show, you don't even want to look at me, that's completely understandable. I get it. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Stitcher, a few other podcast platforms. We're basically everywhere except Apple Music. We're not quite good enough for Apple. If you click the link down in the description below, there's a link to Anchor. That'll take you to a page where you can listen to us anywhere. So you can, wherever you like to listen to podcasts at, you can probably find it on that page. And you can just listen to the audio version of the show. The audio version comes out on Thursday, the day after we record the show. So if you just want to listen to the show, there is that option. Just click the link down in the description below. That is going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank you all for watching. If you watched this godforsaken show, I appreciate it greatly. Shaq also appreciates it as well. I hope everybody has an extremely Merry Christmas. I just want to make sure that we'll be back before the end of the year here. I'm looking at the calendar. Yes. Okay, yeah, next Wednesday is the day before New Year's Eve, so we will be back before that. So I won't say see you all next year. That'll be next episode. But yeah, have a very Merry Christmas. Christmas Eve is tomorrow. If you're an NFL fan and your team is in the hunt for a playoff spot, I know the only thing you're wishing for is that sweet, sweet playoff berth. So I hope you get what you asked for Christmas when it comes to your sports team. Stay safe this holiday season, folks. Extremely grateful for the folks that listen or watch the show. Follow us on Instagram at AFR Sports. Follow Bootleggers on Instagram at Bootleggers Brewing Co. We will